Hamza, assalamu alaikum and welcome to Radio 786.
Thank you very much for hosting me. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
How are you really doing?
I'm doing okay. At the same time, I have relative back in Gaza. I have my almost 7 sisters, nephews, nieces. I am actually in pain, in deep pain actually, because of what's going on, what's happened to Gaza and what's still happening until now. So I'm just scared that I'm going to lose more of my relative. So I'm always checking on them. I'm always busy in my mind, thinking about them, thinking about my friends that I lost during the war, my colleagues. I lost more than 50 colleagues that I know personally.
Sure.
Journalists, I lost a lot. So I just keep thinking about them, and I'm afraid to lose more.
You've obviously seen things that a lot of us have never ever come close to witnessing in real life. I was, in fact, this morning when I was thinking about the attacks on Beit Lahia and those high-rise residential buildings, I was wondering, what would be my immediate reaction if a bomb goes off? How would I react, if a missile strikes and I hear this big, loud boom, a bang of a sound going off? That, in and of itself, is already quite disturbing to experience. Notwithstanding body parts that are all over the place, losing loved ones, family, colleagues, etc. How are you managing with the trauma of all of that? Are you managing the trauma?
Okay, first I have to mention this, that the Palestinians have been suffering since 1948. They have been under massacres, they have been under blockade. Now Gaza was under blockade for about 17 years. Big siege. Nothing allows to enter Gaza. So we used to have escalations and wars. I experienced 2008 war, 2011, 2014, 2020 and 2021 and 2023. So we have been through wars and escalations. So we lost many relatives when I was a little boy. So I used to lost people from Israeli airstrikes or Israeli drones. So yes, trauma not now. Trauma will come to me after 3 years. Because sometimes trauma come afterwards. It takes time for you.
Takes time, yeah.
The shock you will get shocked not now during the war. After everything is settled, everything is done, you will feel the real pain. So I think I'm dealing with it, but the amount of people I lost is actually above my power to deal with the trauma. I lost many. I lost a lot. I'm talking about when I say I lost 50 colleagues only. There's about 200 relatives and people from my neighbors, people I know, friends from school, from university. I lost a lot. So the amount of the numbers, the huge number of the people I lost is actually above my power to deal with any trauma. So I'm trying my best to deal with it, but I don't think so I will make it.
That's a very difficult thing to come to know, because again, it's something that I would never be able to put myself in your shoes to understand what that would feel like. Who are the people that Israel are killing at the moment? Of course, you talk about all your family, your friends, your loved ones, etc. Israel says it is going after Hamas. It wants to get rid of Hamas, and I'm not going to be talking just about the necessary political situation, as it were, but the sheer amount of indiscriminate killing that has characterized this genocide. Surely, anybody that looks Palestinian, that walks in the streets, are targets at the moment in Gaza. Talk to me about some of your colleagues that you had worked with, and the things that they saw, the things that you saw, in what Israel said was its objective in this, right? Which was to go after Hamas, and what you documented, what your colleagues and your friends and family have documented to be what is the true extent of what's happening in Gaza right now.
Okay, I will just start saying a picture can explain 100 words, right? So for us Palestinians, we have the responsibility to document and deliver the truth in a very objective way, so the world can understand what's going on in the ground in Gaza. So personally, and my colleagues' experience doing the war covering targeting or destroying residential buildings full of civilians, full of children's, the most of the footage I have on my hard disks, on my computer, I have thousands of clips. You can't see one single clip without a child. You will find a lot children injured. You will find a lot children dying because of due to the Israeli airstrikes on residential buildings. And I will tell you this: since October 7th, the beginning of the war, the people of Gaza start evacuating their homes because the Israelis they target their houses, so they don't have a chance to stay in their house. It's not safe to stay in your house. So people, they will search for a safe place, like hospitals and where schools, yeah, right? And you saw that not even a single school not affected, all affected by the Israeli airstrikes and Israeli bombardment. That means no safe place. They target almost every single hospital in a daily basis. They always target hospitals, they always target schools, and they claim there's armed people inside between the civilians. Okay, I want to tell this. No one have the right to target 100 people because of one person. Despite how necessary this person is or how dangerous it is. You kill women and children, like hundreds, to get rid of one. No one have that. This is against international law, against humanity, against what they are claiming to say. So they say we seek for peace and stuff, and the opposite is actually happening. Okay, people, they start leaving. There's no schools left actually. The majority of the schools is actually burned or destroyed, completely destroyed. So now people try to build their own tents. At the beginning of the war, we don't have tents, so people start building their own tents using their own blankets, and they start sheltering in the street beside the roads. So even camps, tents, even it's not safe. It's not going to protect you from shrapnels or rockets, or even you're going to feel cold also. Yeah,
notwithstanding the winter that Palestinians had just, of course, experienced. How did you respond to every time going to a scene where children are being pulled out of the rubble, somebody that you may have known, that you see them martyred? What does that do to you? Do you have a time to take that in, to process what is happening? Because you see there's a bombing and you respond to it as a journalist, and you're not just the journalist that's reporting on a war crime that has been committed, but you're noticing perhaps a friend or a child that you know. How do you respond to that?
Okay. I respond by staying quiet because I have nothing to do. I have to increase my level of work and try to deliver their voices. This is the power I have. So when I understand this is a way of me expressing or reacting against what's going on in Gaza, for delivering very good work to the outside world, delivering their messages, and this is actually what I have, what I got, nothing to do else. So when you see relative dying, you're very sad. You're gonna cry for a day, and then you will find and you will think how you can take the rights or save the rest of the people, to save the rest. So at the beginning of the war, there's a very famous and popular journalist work with RT Arabic. He told me, he have a lot of experience. He told me, this war, if someone dies, just go further and take care of the rest, because the amount of bombardment and the amount of the killing was too much. You don't have even the time to cry for someone, because you're gonna lose another one straight away. In the same day, you will lose many in one day. Every single day, I open my Facebook. There's a lot of people I know. They're announcing that they was killed, in their houses, in the hospitals, in the schools. And as I told you, my family there, I have to check the news always, because my sisters, my relative, I have to know. I have to always call them, be in touch with them, try to support them in any way.
What does that conversation sound like? Because on your end, I'm certain you're feeling powerless, that you cannot be there with them. They are relaying every day of being displaced and having to move, and reporting on somebody that you may know together that have passed on, etc. What does a phone call with your sisters sound like?
It goes like this. Hello, darling. Hello, Habibti, in Arabic. How are you doing? I'll try to be as nice as I can, to be like so kind, because I wanted her to feel that I'm with her. And I asked her if she needs anything, if she needs money. And she always responds, money means nothing here, because if you don't have food, how you're going to buy food? There's no food. So if you go to the market and you want to buy food, there's no food. So the money means nothing there. And she always crying and say, this talk so long, takes so long. I asked her about her children. How is Muhammad? How is Saad? How is everyone? She always saying Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So I'm always trying to make them feel that I'm with them, I care about them, and I want this to end and meet them again. Because me fleeing from Gaza to Egypt, it was not up to me, because it's actually my father's responsibility. My father's suffering from dialysis, and we have to go to the hospital 3 times a week. So I had to leave because of my parents. But I still have a relative. I don't want them to feel that they're alone. Yeah.
How did that make you feel, leaving? Because, as you say, you're now leaving because of your sickly father that needs dialysis. Knowing that some of your sisters and the nephews and nieces are being left behind, etc. I suppose it's a very difficult decision to take. But how did that journey happen when you left? Where was it facilitated through? Was it relatively difficult? Was it easy? Can you give us an idea of leaving Gaza and what that looks like during the war?
Sure. I will start first from me being in the northern areas, me and my parents. We was in the northern areas, me, my mom, my dad. And then it becomes so difficult to go to the hospital because there's no transportation, and also there's no hospitals. All hospitals are already targeted and destroyed. And many of them, they ask them to evacuate the hospitals. So there's no chance to get a treatment in the northern areas. So we decided, me and my family, to flee from the north only to the south, hoping that we will return after a month, after a few days. And then we went to Rafah, me and my parents, and I was sheltering in a tent. My parents, my father, because they're old, I put him in my uncle room. There's a room in my uncle's house. I make them shelter there, and then it takes so long. And the hospital we was taking treatment there was too crowded. Sometimes you will go really late. It's not up to you. It becomes so difficult. Diseases everywhere. When there's a lot of people in the hospital, diseases will go fast, So I decided to leave. I registered them in one of the organizations to flee them from Gaza to Egypt, and it takes so long. So I decided to do it by myself, and in a miracle, it's a miracle. After one day of us leaving, they invade Rafah crossing, and they closed.
Sure.
Yeah. And then it was so difficult to put our names on the list to go. So difficult. And you have to...
I remember another, in fact, a South African that lived in Gaza who married somebody in Gaza at the time, and she was telling us that, putting your name on the list and then waiting every other day to see whether you've been approved to leave, and the anxiety that causes. So you're now living in Egypt with your father, your parents, and of course some of the family left behind in Gaza at the moment. That's a very difficult thing to experience. I want to quickly just talk about Jabalia, where you are from. Oftentimes we hear about it on the news, we read about it, we look at the events of the concentration of attacks by Israel on Jabalia. Describe for me the community that lives in Jabalia.
Okay, there's always a bright side in between the darkness. Gazans, especially when you go to the refugee camps like Jabalia, Al-Nusrat camp, I'll talk about Jabalia. People are close to each other. They always support each other. I'll tell you this: if there's someone is cooking a kind of food, the neighbors will smell it and know. So they all actually staying close to each other. So it's like the whole refugee camp is actually one family. They love each other and they support each other. But it's a harsh reality. There's a harsh reality there that it's too crowded. And there's a lot of negative stuff when it comes to war, because there's a lot of thousands of people living in a refugee camp, okay, and they have to deal with airstrikes together. In Gaza, there's difference between other wars. If there's someone got injured or died due to the Israeli airstrike, the people will never leave him on the ground. They will never leave him. Even it's dangerous to go and pick him up and send him to the hospital, they will never leave him. So Gazans in the Jabalia refugee camps are very resilient, and they love each other. This is the bright side. And talking about the details of the camp is actually crazy. It's all about narrows,
Yeah,
houses.
It's very on top of each other, very narrowed pathways.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so when it gets targeted for bombing, the scale is quite big because of how
Yes.
how densely populated it most certainly is. Do you look forward going back to Gaza? There's always this idea of building a life outside of that camp, but for Palestinians, there's a sense of belonging. It's about their land. It's about where they come from, and I'm wondering, of course, we all look forward to some day that there will be a ceasefire in whatever form and shape that will take. But are you looking forward to returning?
Okay, yes, I'm looking forward to return, and this is actually a dream from me. To now, if they open the borders now,
you'll return even in the midst of a genocide.
Even there's a single house is standing in Gaza, I will go there. This is 100%. I was living in Malaysia for 3 years, since 2014 until 2019. I returned back to Gaza, and I was so happy, and I lived for about 6 years straight away, since 2019 until 2023. It was so good, so peaceful. Home will be home, whatever happens. Home.
Yeah, home is home.
Home is home. Home is home. This is, you ask every single Gazan who lived in Gaza, because Gaza have a special thing, which is the meaning of life. Because the simplicity there give you more options to love life. Nowadays, the whole world is living a luxury life. We go malls, hotels, blah blah. Let's say there's no electricity in one of the houses. They will get crazy to fix it, right? In Gaza, there's no electricity, but people still love each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know what life means, and for me, my humble opinion, I'm really sorry to say that the only place that have really life and freedom is actually Gaza. So I want my freedom. I want to live. If I want to live, I will go back to Gaza.
How angry are you at the moment? And with who are you angry, if you are angry, about the year that has been and the impact on your psyche, your family, your life, not being able to just go to the beach in Gaza at the moment, the sheer amount of loss and devastation that has been visited upon yourself and others, does that make you angry?
Of course I'm angry. I'm angry because the international community didn't stop the killing until now. I'm angry at the whole world. It's not only one. Of course, the first thing I'm angry at is the Israeli occupation, because they're occupying my land, my home. I'm originally from Jerusalem. I'm not from Gaza. So the majority who lived in Gaza is actually refugees.
Yeah.
It's a Jabalia refugee camp.
Yeah.
So they will come from different places in Palestine. So they steal my land, and I want my land back, and I have the right to return. This is a right, and the international community agree this is a right for me to return, because I'm a refugee. How come I'm holding a refugee card in Gaza, in Palestine, in my country?
You're a refugee on your own land, almost.
In your own land.
Yeah.
So the majority of Gazans just like me. I'm not saying only me.
Yeah.
The majority of them. So I'm angry at them, but now who have the power to stop the war, and he didn't stop it, and the double standard against the Palestinians is actually above humanity and above international law. So I can't blame my people. My people are very kind people. I can't blame my people. That's it.
Yeah, Rafif Ziada says we teach life.
Yes.
And I think that is what you're referring to. Have you thought about the day the sun arises and there isn't genocide in this form? And I'm saying genocide in this form because I think you yourself also just highlighted it in your previous answer when you said that today we're talking about the genocide, but there is an occupation that breathes every single day in what we see in the West Bank, in Jerusalem, Al-Quds, etc., and of course now the blockade on Gaza, as it were. Do you have any hope and confidence that the sun will rise over Gaza one morning, that you'll be there, and the conditions will be far less than what it is right now? And I don't even know how to describe it, because the genocide stops tomorrow, but the occupation continues, which is why the fight needs to continue on a more broader scale. But what does a day of freedom look like for you in Gaza?
A day of freedom in Gaza is something will happen sooner or later. So here's the difference. Gazans, they believe that they can do anything they want. They believe in this. You can do anything you want. This is what we believe. This is our faith. So we have the right. We are actually much stronger than the occupation. So the day of freedom will come. The sun will rise again, and we will celebrate victory in Gaza. Because as you saw, it's about for 13 months of genocide. It's not a war, it's not equal to even to call it a war. It's a genocide. They still living their life. You will find people playing football during the genocide. There's a lot they know what life means. They have faith. So faith will bring us to the day of freedom in Gaza, and it looks very bright for me, and I'll see it sooner or later.
How do you maintain that? And as a final question, I live so very many kilometers away from that very terrible tragedy that's being committed onto the people of Gaza at the moment. But I go through my days where I struggle when I look at the sheer amount of deaths and destruction, and I look at the the amount of children that are killed and so on, and I struggle to find the resilience to keep doing what I can do from my little studio here to show solidarity and to fight for freedom on a different level. But for Palestinians, not only is the wrath of all evil being waged against you at the moment, but there's still this how we refer to this Allah talks about Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. There's this sense of resilience, this hope that you have that doesn't lead you to actually lose faith in your Creator, that you're not angry with your Creator to the point to say, but why is this happening to us, and us, and that would make us then want to give up or want to surrender or anything like that. What is it about the Palestinian spirit that keeps them so grounded to their faith?
God is the faith we have actually comes with reality on the ground. We believe in educations and we believe in learning. We are Gazans are actually very smart, very, very smart people. You'll find professors, doctors. That's why the Israelis at the beginning of the war, they targeted almost every single university, and they target professional people directly. They want to kill the professional people because they know the Palestinians learning really fast. Because Palestine lives under blockade and siege, and they find solution from nothing. The occupation, them got shocked from what Palestinians doing. No electricity, they will find solution to find lights. There's no internet, they will find solutions. There's no there's a problem here, they will fix it. Because when you put someone in a very harsh condition, you will see how amazing he is. So struggles and pain we love. Now we become like people who love pain, because pain brings us in a very huge and nice level where we can know what life means. When you have nothing, you know what water worth. You know this one worth a lot. A simple thing for you means a lot to us. So we don't waste water, we don't waste electricity, we save. We have a lot of details to tell about this because of the occupation regime to us. So the occupation actually make us stronger. They actually, for me, the occupation are just not smart enough.
Yeah.
And I think they're losing.
Yeah.
Against the Palestinians, because Palestinians are getting stronger. If the genocide keep going, Palestine will win. They're doing what they're doing. Actually, they're separating, humans, non-humans in the earth.
Yeah.
They make a huge problem by killing children. The amount of children, the amount of the hospitals, the schools that destroyed during the war, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The whole world is actually now sick of them, sick of the killing. The whole world wants this to stop. Yesterday I was in the event, and a lot of questions I received. I'm sick. I cry every day. I have anxiety. I can't watch the footage. This is my advice to everyone still watching the footage. Do not watch horrific videos. Just don't forget about the Palestinians. Do not put yourself in a position where you get sick or you feel tired. I don't want you to feel tired. We don't want to feel tired. We need to be strong to support the Palestinians. You can write. You can share acceptable footage on your social media. You can share the hope. You can share a lot. You can do a lot if you start thinking how I can help the Palestinians without showing the horrific pictures. So supporting the Palestinians is not only by sharing horrific pictures. So this is not true. No one likes to see a child without head. No one. So there's a lot of ways to find ways
to show solidarity.
You have a lot of initiative. You can start many thousands of initiatives that will get people inspired, and then Palestinians will achieve their freedoms by people.
Yeah.
Now social media is actually a very powerful tool to achieve freedom, right? It's not like back then in the 90s. So I think people can do a lot on social media.
Yeah.
It's not by sharing horrific pictures. A lot of initiative, smiling with Palestinians, talking to Palestinians. It's not only money. It's all about how you find the right idea and the right time to help the Palestinians.
Absolutely. Hamza, thank you very much for coming to see us, for coming to chat to us about your own experiences, and inshallah we hope Allah reconnects you with your sisters, your family in Gaza. Allah grant shifa to your father, and certainly we pray that we could visit you someday on the beach there in Gaza, having a nice sip of coffee and basking in the freedom that Palestinians are going to attain. Inshallah, you will indeed be freed and attain that freedom, God willing. Thank you very much for talking to us, and we hope inshallah to see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you very much.